Hello class, I wanted to give you a lecture tutorial on web content management systems. Not going to be using Dreamweaver in this tutorial. It's actually not really a tutorial, it's just a lecture and overview to get you started on these content management systems. Many of you are probably already aware that these exist, but if you're not, I wanted to take a video and sort of introduce you to these systems that are out there. So what are they? Well, I normally don't use Wikipedia, but I read this article and it does a pretty good job of summarizing it. It's a web content management system on the article, or on Wikipedia. So you can search for that and you'll find that one pretty easily. And it stands for Content Management System. And what it is basically is a way for you to create a website that has a database backend and is easy to update and works for large websites. Originally it started out as a blogging tool and then kind of got adapted into a website tool. So it gives you a way to create a page based on templates and themes, but it uses PHP and it uses database MySQL as the backend. So I'm going to talk about that in this tutorial now. The most popular CMS that you're going to find is WordPress. There's also Drupal and Joomla. So these are actually used by a variety of people with different skill levels. People that don't know anything about design can integrate one of the themes and templates with their hosting company, all the way up through programmers that design sites from scratch, but they use this framework and use their own server for it. UK uses Drupal for a lot of their sites, and I think they use WordPress for some of them also. Now, this does not really replace the static website, that you would learn to build in Dreamweaver. In addition, you can use Dreamweaver with WordPress to customize and work with the actual script. You start getting into more of the PHP programming when you do that. So Dreamweaver does, what we've learned is kind of the basics, creating the static website, some of the features in Dreamweaver, and then from there you can expand on it, and you can incorporate sites like this, or you can actually do your own programming in Dreamweaver, PHP or ASP. So just quickly here, if you're looking at the difference between a static and a dynamic website, you probably know that already. Static website, one like mine where you design every single page, every HTML page yourself. Dynamic is one step further. You could actually consider like a Dreamweaver template a form of a dynamic site where you're not really developing every single HTML page individually. You're basing it off of a template or a theme, and then the content gets pulled from another source, usually a database. So the best example, or one of the best examples, would be like eBay or something like that, Amazon.com. So when you look at a site like this and you click on it, on an item, obviously there are millions and millions of items on this auction site, and it wouldn't make any sense to develop an HTML page individually for every single one of them. So what they do is they use a front end, a template, like what you would develop in Dreamweaver, and then they use the back end, all of the content in a database gets populated into this template, this form here, and that's why they all look the same. Okay, so the content gets filled in from another source, a database. So that's dynamic website, and that's what these CMS tools help you develop. Okay, so let's come back and check out a little bit about WordPress. Now, what this tutorial is, again, it's just an overview. So if you want to get started and try this yourself, what you need to do is download WordPress 3.4.2. It tells you that right here. If you scroll down a little bit, it tells you it's as easy as finding a web host, download and install WordPress, read documentation, and then you're going to start building your site based on one of their themes. Now, the thing about the web host, before we look at an example of this, let's go to About. And then if you look at the requirements and the features, let's see, requirements right here, it says to run WordPress, your host needs to have PHP version 5.2.4 and MySQL version 5. So how do you find a host that has that? Well, pretty much any hosting company is going to support that language and that database. So like I use GoDaddy.com, pretty common. A lot of people use that one. There are thousands of hosting companies out there. I've also used Yahoo.com and Hostway.com. All of those support WordPress, CMS websites. So you have to make sure that your hosting company supports that. The district website, Bluegrass, for example, does not support that, so you really can't run this on your free web server, so you would have to pay and get some hosting space. Most of you would be doing that anyway if you're developing websites on your own, and if you're taking IMD courses, you probably eventually will have your own domain name, your own hosting. Couple bucks a month, well worth the investment to get hosting in your own domain name. So what you would do here, I'll go back here, is you download WordPress, and then that's going to give you access to the themes available, and then you can start to develop your database. You can develop a really simple database to fill in the content. It doesn't have to be too complicated. MySQL is also open source. That's another important thing I'll mention with this, is that these CMS tools are open source, meaning they're free, and you can change the code. But the drawback to that is the code can get pretty complicated sometimes. The code does involve CSS, so regular CSS files that you can alter to change the templates. So what do these themes look like? Well, you can check out the themes, or you can check out the showcase. Let me just quickly go to the showcase here. I'll grab this one's a pretty typical WordPress looking website, maybe a little fancier than a typical one, but it has kind of a similar look to what you'd expect. It does center. This is very popular. It does center, and it actually resizes. It's kind of what's called a flexible design. There's a tutorial I'm posting on flexible designs or fluid designs as well. And it has a little CSS, little drop-down menu at the top. Pretty standard business-looking website, but that's your example of what a theme is going to look like. And then they have themes here, which you can go and check out some of these. This news theme right here, that's a pretty typical theme that you're going to see. I mean, if you search the web out there, you will run across this theme eventually, because a lot of people use it. That's another drawback, is that if you're not really proficient in editing PHP and CSS, then it's a little hard to customize some of these and get them to look exactly the way you want. So you do have to do some more work, some more training to really customize these sites. But this is a theme, thousands of themes, lots of plugins, interesting looks for these sites. So that's really what this is, what this CMS area of web development is. It's important to start looking at it, especially before you graduate. We don't have an entire class on this yet. Eventually we probably will. It's becoming a lot more popular, in recent years. It's a good thing to put on your resume. So what I would recommend that you do is, I would assume that you have your own hosting company, and if not, you would be getting that before you graduate. Then what you want to do is just come to this website. It's .org. It's not the .com. Go to the .org site for WordPress and download it. And then you'll end up with a lot of code. You'll end up with PHP, CSS for the actual templates, the themes of the site. And then you're going to have to also get a database going. It's going to require research and work on your part. But if you're in this field, in web development, graphic design, programming, anything in this field, you're going to be learning on your own for a lot of things. That's how most of us got started. There weren't always classes to take. Classes give you a great foundation for everything, but the technology changes so fast that eventually you're going to be learning something entirely on your own. So this would be a good thing to practice on right now. If you run into problems with it, I'll be glad to help you out. Even after the class is over, I'll always be around so I can help you out. But download it, try it out, upload your PHP to your server, your database, and see if you can get it working. And that's going to be good for your resume, that you can put that on there as a skill. You may not have an actual functioning portfolio example of a CMS website, but if you understand how it works and you can talk about it, then I think you'll be in better shape, when you come to interview for a job And the other sites to look at would be Drupal and Joomla as well. So lots of different things to get started on. If you want to look into this area, very popular for design and very important for you to understand how it works. Also, I want to make sure that I'm clear that this does not replace what Dreamweaver does. These have coexisted for quite some time. In fact, you can use Dreamweaver with this, use it all together. The CSS, the design of it, everything. It's just different in the way that it uploads and functions, where the content comes from, different the way the server handles it, and it's not straight HTML. It's more PHP. So hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if you get stuck, have questions if you try this, and that's it.